All right. Hey, Brent. How's it
How are
going?
you? I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. So overall, how was your experience playing Big Brother?
Amazing. I got a little taste of everything. I got the slop. I got living on the cots, no privacy, public showers, one toilet, 16 house guests. I got the betrayal. I got the backstabbing. I got the deceit. And I had the laughs. So that's all that matters. But yeah, I got a little bit of everything. So I'd say overall, complete success. I got the
Okay.
full
Would you
experience.
do anything differently if you could go back and start over?
Um, I went in target on my back because of the way I looked, and Frenchie made that very known. I think if that wasn't the case and there was no Frenchie, I would have definitely went in with my original strategy, which was staying a little bit more low key, a little bit more in the shadows, being more observant, using the charm and all that later. But the charm was what ended up getting me off the block in the first place. It was just a hand I was dealt. I cannot complain about it. It's part of the game. It's part of life. And I played it to the best of my ability until I had no more options. Um, yeah, so if I could do it all over again without Frenchie being on me so quick, would definitely be the more reserved, passive route.
Do you regret anything about your game?
It's hard to regret anything when you're just on defense mode the whole time. It's really hard to not, like, I had no control on a lot of things right out the gate. And it's more or less I have to submit to certain ideas that I don't agree with because the first HOH or the second HOH want it that way, right? And if you're trying to stay in good graces and someone brings you into some type of alliance like Slaughterhouse that was built off of, distrust and uh, it was just, it's hard to fathom that I could have done anything differently in the beginning because either way, if I did do something differently, I wouldn't have made it to week 3. If I challenged Frenchie, if I went against him, or if I said no to the final 2 or the alliance, the slaughterhouse, even though I disagreed with it in the first place, I would have been put up and Travis would have stayed, you know? So it was more or less just adapting and doing what I had to do week by week. Um, but that paint that was put on me, that red paint dried and that target remained. And I think it was going to remain even into the next weeks if I made it. So that veto, even though I would love to have win it, wouldn't have gave me any information that I needed. I would have just went home the next week. Um, and I would have just been prolonging the inevitable. I really wanted, for the sake of my team and myself, to understand who is truly behind us and who is not. So, but yeah, as far as gameplay, my hands were tied. There's not really much I could say I could have did differently because you never know what's going to happen, who you're going to be with.
Mhm. What do you think your relationship was like with the women in the house?
So we were all very close. We butted heads a few times. We obviously had different perspectives on certain things, but that is human nature, beliefs, values, ideals. Um, we were all very flirty. Uh, I stayed away from a lot of the the other gentlemen with all the cuddling and everything like that. Just thought wasn't really something I wanted to really do because I already had a target on my back. Showmances were kind of out of the picture when you're on defense mode the whole time. But I'm a very flirtatious person, male and female. I like to, have fun and joke around. But as far as the narratives I had to portray that Frenchie left as far as me to use as ammunition as an all-girl alliance and such. It was more of just a way to keep peace between the slaughterhouse and my team because did have Hannah and Derek X that were not a part of it. Hannah was very against the whole girl alliance, even though she was approached by someone to join the all girl alliance, which I didn't find out until a little later, but she was approached to join Frenchie's Kisses. It was a narrative to help try to get Derek X off of Christian, which Christian was in the slaughterhouse, and to get Hannah off the scent of maybe we were working with other people, and the only people outside of slaughterhouse were 5 females and Derek X. so it made sense. Um, and unfortunately, Brittany's name got dragged through the mud because of Frenchie saying that she was the head of an all-girl alliance, and Claire as well. And it was reiterated down the line from person to person. And I did explain to Brittany at one point when she asked why we were both up on the block, and I said it did probably stem from Frenchie and the reiteration on my end of her name being the lead of an all-girl alliance. Um, and I said, it was more or less just something that we couldn't disprove or prove. Come week 3, we could disprove it though. That's why it was tough. We only had 1 week to stick to the narrative, and X didn't use Aza, but it makes sense because Aza is in an alliance with him. So now it makes sense. But yeah, it was more or less something to use as well, as far as 2 gentlemen who went home the first 2 weeks. And if anyone knows the game, and now the third gentleman went home, it does come down to numbers sometimes. It's like Christian and X. I don't know if they don't realize that, but the girls will all turn against you and take you guys all out. It's just, and Hannah's a mastermind. She's beautiful inside and out. She's brilliant. I have nothing but kind words to say about her. And she's playing a perfect, low key, silent game, and I respect her highly because I got a little bit more of the feist at the end because I was challenging a lot of the things that she was trying to protect. So it makes sense because all of those other young ladies were in her alliances. So now it makes sense.
Yeah. That was actually my next question was about Hannah. Her goodbye message was kind of savage. So how would you describe your relationship with her?
Oh, we're close. Like I said, we don't see eye to eye on everything. Obviously, we have different perspectives, but we did have a lot of in-depth and intellectual conversations that I enjoyed, and I know she enjoyed. She wouldn't have entertained them. As far as her goodbye message, we have had a public conversation in front of the other house guests when she has brought the word up arrogant before, and she was it was diffused by other people saying it was confidence, not really arrogance, because arrogance is more on the line of shoving people's noses in things and belittling people and making them feel like they're less, or really being more on the facetious end of me being more confident and assured that I know who I am and I know my strengths and weaknesses. I can see where you can confuse it for cockiness, especially with competitive background, but am I surprised she used that? No, because that was something that she believed, and like she's entitled to her opinion. But also too, I lived with them 24/7, and I know a little bit more than the public eye as far as who is okay with what and how we interact with one each other, and the relationships we developed. And I do know there's a difference between when the camera's on and it's go time and you're in a DR, a diary room, and you have, to give a show to America. I think there's a huge difference between the two. And it's not important for the public to see that, but for me to know it, that I know the truth, and I know the bonds that were created in the house. And just like Alyssa did, Alyssa gave me a little feist too, but Alyssa was also like, yeah, we're gonna hang out on Halloween and everything like that. Like those things,
Yeah.
we're all gonna get into a group chat. We're all gonna stay friends. We're all gonna laugh about nonsense again. I mean, so no hard feelings.
Good. So who do you think is in the best position in the house right now?
Hannah, because legit, it's like you would never expect it. She just looks in the mirror and dances all day. So like she'll walk by a mirror and then just dance, like do a little TikTok dances, and it's just brilliant because she's doing her own thing. She's staying low key, but she's very analytical and she thinks strategically, and she runs things before she does them. She's not impulsive. But on the opposite end, I think Christian deserves to win because he's winning everything and he's playing so naive and he's making octopus hot dogs and doing all these things that would make him seem so innocent and not a threat. but yeah, he's won a competition every week, and they were all individual in different competitions. And still, everyone decided to get rid of me. One of the only people that X believes would be the biggest threat to them. They still got rid of me. So, I mean, I would have done the same exact thing as if I was in their shoes, was to get rid of me. It was the right play. That's why I'm not upset about it or shocked. But I am shocked that no one can see that Christian is absolutely crushing it. And I was more of a threat than he was when I haven't had an ounce of power, you know? But yeah, so Hannah is definitely going to win it. Christian deserves to win it.
I think if Christian had not won HOH this week, he would be in some trouble.
You believe so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's on people's radars, I think.
Hopefully, because like the way it seems like everyone was just looking at me for any. So there was this issue with the coffee machine. I make coffee for a living. I make it 100 times a day. I'm a flight attendant, right? The coffee machine had 5 filters in it, and someone put water in the actual coffee grinds, not the coffee section. And everyone thought I did it. And I'm like, I make coffee 100 times a day. You think I don't know how? Like everyone thought I was a complete like idiot. And I'm like, and Christian actually heard me say it. I was like, everyone's looking at me. But what about the guy that makes octopus hot dogs? Like the guy that has never cooked a day in his life, nor like it doesn't make coffee or anything like that, but has tried to make coffee. And he was like, good argument. But I was like, so true. And guess who it was, by the way? It
Who was it?
was Hannah. Hannah is the coffee bandit, and she let me take the fall. Unbelievable. I
That's
should have known
great.
betrayal was in her repertoire. What?
So my last question is, who do you think is in the worst position in the house?
That's a good question. I think Kyland and maybe Derek X. Just because I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with both of their alliances they're a part of that I'm not a part of. But if X and Christian keep winning, I mean, they already got rid of 3 gentlemen. And if you really were worried about the numbers being skewed, it's kind of too far gone at this point. You know, I would just more or less get rid of the people that has a strong bond with a lot of people, and that's Kylan. Kylan has a strong bond with a lot of the young ladies in the house. They trust him. They're receptive to him. He's very sweet. He's very nurturing. He's very caring. He's just overall perfect person. And then Derek X is his right-hand man. They're kind of perfect. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kylan and Derek X if they try to already tear apart some of the stuff they built.
Yeah. Okay.
Who
Well,
do you
that was
think? Who do you think?
what?
Who do you think?
Ooh.
Look
I
at this.
think Whitney and Brittany are maybe in trouble this week.
Yeah, I would be happy if Whitney went home.
Oh, really? How come?
Yeah, me and Whitney never got along.
It
We
seemed
didn't.
like you guys were kind of friends, though. I don't know, like a love-hate relationship.
She was very fake to me, and I could tell from the very first conversation I had with her that she would be able to dish but not take. And then as soon as you would, and I'm a big personality, so as soon as I would bust her up a little bit, boom, she would just turn red, full shutdown mode. I would have to be like, we're on the same team. It was frustrating because she took everything to heart, and it makes it hard to build something when you don't get along with someone in your team.
Yeah.
And I don't believe she's playing any type of game. I really do believe that everyone else is playing the game, and she's kind of just chilling. And because a lot of the times she'll say, oh, I'm not talking game today. I was like, well, Whitney, I'm on the block. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't feel like talking game today, it's like, come on. You just want to coast by and let everyone else do all the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's little things like that. Like, I just want to cuddle. She actually asked me, she's like, why are you the only guy that doesn't like cuddle or anything like that? And I was like, because first off, I have a target on my back. It's not what I'm here to do. If a showman's happens, a showman's happens. But she was more preoccupied on just the social interaction and hanging out and cuddling than the actual game. So I'd be happy if she goes home.
I would not be surprised if she is on the block this week. So she might have to start talking game.
Right? But it's like, she should have been doing it since the beginning. But
Yeah.
actually, I agree with you now. You persuaded me.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry you went out so early, but it's been a really fun season so far.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks.